until 2 months ago, quite frankly. But, you know, everybody seems to pretend that this is an authoritarian state because Trudeau is the prime minister. 31% of Canadians, of the 60 something percent that voted for him. Aaron O'Toole got more votes. We need to get this stupid idea out of our system that 31% of 67% means that this is a far left country. We need to get this stupid idea out of our head that if you're an immigrant, if you're a black person, if you're Indian, Muslim, Sikh, Chinese, Jewish, whatever it is, that you must automatically like Trudeau because he's your guy. So because I do believe that he will be prime minister for as long as he wants, because he's aided and abetted by the discourse in our country. You know, you're an outlier, Rupa, in being able to write and keep your job by actually being critical of the state. To me, this is a tipping point, because we are at the point where there was an Emergencies Act invoked. We don't talk about that enough, because it's yesterday's news. Today we're on to Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian and him manscaping. That's the way our attention span is in this world, okay? And you had a government that with no cause shut down not only people's bank accounts. Think that through. We're not a third world. They shut down people's bank accounts, but money launderers, drug traffickers, organized crime never have their bank accounts touched unless they're due process. You have to go to court. There are injunctions. We know who money launders. We know who owns half the real estate in Vancouver and Toronto. You think the rise in interest rates that are going to cripple so many people listening to you and I right now, ordinary average people throughout Canada, who are going to be crippled by the interest rate hike that will have nothing to do with inflation, particularly if you believe the crap that it's Biden's Putin's price hike. Think that through. You don't have any bank accounts frozen of any of the people in Canada that are nefarious. But if you're some person in Yellowknife who wanted to send $25 to a cause that goes against, you're never going to do it again because you don't want to be on the RCMP radar. It's not worth the headache. But if you can't have 100,000 people sending $20 to a cause they believe in, you have stifled dissent. I can't prove this, but when you get Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe saying, we're going to take this down, your name will go to the government, to the RCMP, and your accounts will be frozen without any due process. And then they come into the House of Commons and lie about it. That, to me, again, is the precipice of something disastrous. So just because it's July, whatever today is, the sun is shining, there's still food on the table. Look at Sri Lanka. Look at the Netherlands. Look at all of these examples of countries that were once civilized, probably with people as civilized, if not more than us. South America, Latin America. I'm sorry. It doesn't take 10 years for us to descend into something worse. So when you have a message rubber stamped by a court with no analysis, no depth, okay, maybe she breached. We'll set it for trial, but I'll release her. She's learned her lesson. She won't go to more gala fundraisers. When you send a message that a court rubber stamps this and uses terms like ridiculous and uses terms that are just so beyond the pale, you are sending a message to Canadians who may be wanting to oppose the government. Hold on, can't lose my job, can't get canceled, can't lose my ability to feed my family. And that is much stronger of an incarnation than anything called cancel culture, where you put a mean tweet out and then your Twitter account is closed.
No, I absolutely agree with you, Ari, that, for things to change, I mean, things can change quite rapidly. And as you mentioned, Sri Lanka and the Netherlands. And for some reason here, we seem to think that we're immune from all of these things. But but did anybody even think that you would have one of the biggest protest movements this country has ever seen? And
would have been bigger, Rupa. It would have been bigger. But the PR exercise of the Emergencies Act, the PR exercise of freezing bank accounts, the whole point of that, Rupa, just to be clear, was not to freeze the bank accounts, but was to the silencing of millions of people that might have said, okay, I want to send $20 to a cause that fights a government shutting down Main Street, ordinary average taxpayers who don't hide money in their mattress, who don't launder money, who don't bring in money from overseas. It's not that the bank accounts were frozen that I'm as concerned with. I am. But it's sending the message to the millions who have no voice, nobody representing them, no politician who speaks truth about crime, immigration, inflation, gas, groceries. Those millions of people are like, I'm not taking this chance. And that to me is antithetical to people's participation in a liberal democratic society.
Exactly.